by a few people earlier that maybe people aren't interested in this, and it's mentioned by pretty much everyone. How do we attract people to this issue? People we know are concerned about it, but how do we get them active on it? And what I would say is people are actually interested in this. I have put umpteen videos on my Facebook page and on my Twitter account. You might say, so what? It's the only way I can get information out there. But the most popular and the one that spreads the quickest are the ones on our neutrality. So people are actually interested in it. And the reason why we're here today, the question was asked, we're here to highlight what is basically the beginning of a European army. The media aren't doing it for whatever reason. We can hum and haw about it, but they're not doing it. But they were, you know, the whole issue of war and the consequences is about basically millions and millions of families being divided and being split up. But yesterday, our media, for 24 cycles in a row, spoke about families being broken up and spoke about people being broken up, all right. But who were they talking about? And I'm sorry for her, but they were talking about Jennifer Aniston. One news after the other. We got one go on the news when it came to PESCO. So if people aren't aware, well, whose fault is it? It is the fault of a media that either isn't interested in it, or maybe they support it and don't want us to do anything about it, or I reckon it's this. They don't have enough confidence in the people that they are actually interested in complex issues and that maybe they'd like to know more about it. And we are actually interested in it, so we've got to take advantage of that. And one of the big things for me about Irish neutrality, and I'm talk about teaching your grandmother how to suck eggs, and for all you people out here, I've been listening to what you've been saying for years. You know lots about this, but my experience of neutrality is, no matter where I went around Europe, I was welcome. I was welcome at passport desks. I was welcome, and I was told one of the reasons was because we were neutral and we're Irish, and we basically don't get involved in trying to take over other people's territory, etc. And we're seen as welcome as a result of that. And we need to hold on to that. Now, as an MEP, what I hear is, and Lynn has made a good point, what Jean-Claude Juncker said about the European Army, or PESCO, he said, a beauty is born, he called it a sleeping beauty. And while I don't agree with Jean-Claude Juncker on pretty much anything, one thing I do like about him is he's bloody well honest. This is what he thinks. Don't agree with what he thinks? But the problem is, we have a Taoiseach that I know in my heart of hearts agrees with Jean-Claude Juncker, hook, line and sinker, but he's telling us, no, this isn't the way it is. PESCO is a little bit like a disco or a visit to Tesco. It's like PESCO, but it is anything but what I think you're worried about. Now, you sit in the Parliament and you listen to people talk about this and you get a sense of whether it's important to them or not. And maybe if I lived in Estonia, it might be more important to me, or maybe if I lived in other parts of the European Union, it might be more important to me for different reasons. But when I hear people who describe themselves as socialists, and a member of the S&G group stood up and said, this should become the EU's most ambitious project. Now that terrifies me. I am sceptical in many areas about the EU, and in certain areas, and I'm a member of the Agri Committee, I'm actually turning into a bit of a Europhile. And I can say this out loud because our Department of Agriculture lies to people over and over and over again. But in other areas, I am not. And I'm definitely not when it comes to defence. And when they say that this should become our most ambitious project, obviously, no more than if you do honours, maths and the Leaving Cert, you're going to spend less time on other subjects. On this, if this becomes our most ambitious project, we will spend less time and less resources on what I think is the ultimate project for this continent, and that is making sure that we have brilliant quality food, making sure that we can produce it here in Europe, and making sure that there's a market for it. But there's going to be competition for the money that we put into that. And we talk about bringing people on side and getting people to support us on this. We need to create our own PESCO, our own permanent structured cooperation. But this time we need permanent structured cooperation with farming groups. We need permanent structured cooperation with teachers. And that's how we defeat it. We need to tell the farming groups that if money goes to, as it says in the EU reflection paper on EU's finances, more money will end up moving away from agriculture into this area. We know who's good at campaigning in this country. I'm a country, I come from the country, I know all about them. And if you talk about taking money away from them, you'll have thousands on the street. And the reality is, whether it's the IFA, don't like them, but whatever, they get a big crowd out, whether it's the Irish Matura Hill Farmers Association, whether it's the ICSA, the ICMSA, go through it, Mockman or Ferma, they're all going to lose if we go down this road. So bring them on board. Another crowd of people we can bring on board is, and one of the big advantages I think of me being an MEP is, I get invited to schools all over the country. And now I've really started to go all over the country, not just in my constituency. And the reason why is because people need to know what's happening in the European Union, and they need to know what we're planning with PESCO. And I'll give you an example. We need to do more of this, and we need to try and get as many MEPs as possible to do this. I was in Banagher 2 weeks ago, and there is a particular acronym for a group of people in the school who are in the Blue Star program, and they're ambassadors, I think they are. And one of the young ambassadors stood up and he said, I am an ambassador for the European Union, and I am here to explain all the things that the European Union does. And I said, that's wonderful. Because I said, now I can explain to you not only the wonderful things it does, and there are some wonderful things done, but I can also explain to you all of the bad things that have been done. How we're running down the road of a military union, how Europe divides and conquers. Scotland, you can join the EU because guess what, we don't like the UK at the moment. Sorry Catalonia, you can't do what you're doing because actually it doesn't suit us at the moment because the Spanish government is basically in the biggest group and we don't want to upset them. So what can be done from the point of view of educating people and bringing them on board is to get it out there with the Blue Star program, with the teachers. And at the end of that meeting, I had teachers coming up to me saying, so what you're saying is we have to spend more on defence, which means there's going to be less for education, less for health, less for housing, and less for everything. And that's how you bring people on board, because everyone has a stake in this, and it's going to cost us, because look, there's only so many slices in the cake. Now, I have a bit of bad news for you. Did you know that we actually support PESCO? They've done opinion polls on it, and we support it, and we support European defence. Tongue in cheek, I don't believe this, but I asked a question and asked what exactly was the reason why Federica Mogherini was coming in to the chamber and saying that there was widespread support. And her reason was that there was a survey conducted in 2016 among 27,705 citizens in 28 member states, and the conclusion of it, when it came to supporting a common defence and security policy in EU member states, was that 75% were in favour. So obviously when I heard that, I thought to myself, look, obviously that doesn't include Ireland. We asked a question of Federica Mogherini, an official question, wrote it into her, and we were told that, yeah, that there was widespread support all across Europe. So we wrote back again, looking for disaggregated data, exactly what the details were for Ireland. Still didn't get an answer. Had an opportunity 2 weeks ago to question Federica Mogherini one-on-one, and in particular because she used the phrase that they were going to be credible and accountable in their work, that they were going to be accountable to European citizens, that there was going to be transparency. Jesus, wasn't I in the right place to ask the question? How many people in Ireland in this survey said yes, and they agreed with the idea of more defence? And she said to me, oh Mike, yeah, I'll definitely give you an answer, I'll get back to you. Now, you have to worry if someone says something is open and transparent and then you look for basic information. well, maybe they're not telling the truth. But at the moment, in the European Union, in the Commission, and in that system, they're saying, so what are people like me complaining about? Should the Irish people support it? I know they don't. I know of several opinion polls that say the polar opposite. So what does that say about it? The same open and transparent individual and the same open and transparent organisation weren't very open and transparent when I attempted to get into the European Defence Agency what's called yearly conference. Jeremy Flynn, who works for me, the day beforehand said, hey Luke, you know, with all this talk about PESCO, etc., maybe it'd be an idea to go along to this meeting. Now, I didn't have an invite, terribly. I went along, went up to the door, and I showed my badge. I didn't get a chance to even enter into this open and transparent process. The lady beside me was attacked by the door person for just saying, why can't I get in? There were her words. I questioned, you know, me too. Hardly would believe in that now. It's a pity people wouldn't practice the bloody thing. I said, sorry, why did you drag down the street? So you have to ask the question, what the hell are they afraid of? If it's so open and transparent, and it's going to be so good for us, and it's so well supported, you'd imagine they'd have carried me in there so I can get some positive quotes to bring to you here. But they didn't do it for a reason, and they didn't do it because what was going on there was basically a little private party between the European military, basically call them what you want. I'd be careful what word to use for them, but basically it was a jamboree between a few selected, acceptable politicians and basically the European arms industry. So that's how open and transparent they are. 1 minute. The ultimate aim here, in a nutshell, what is our goal? Our goal is to change what decision they made in the draw. We need to get that revoked. And we do that, as I said earlier, get onto the farming organisations, which I will do. You get onto the teachers. You get onto every aspect of Irish society. And basically, you bring them on board. We need to set up a Twitter account. We need to set up websites, as was said earlier. We bought, over the next 6 months, I'll be working very closely with Karen Devine. We've already bought the only PESCO website, one that's left. They own every other one, but we can get other names so you can link it back to it. But we've basically got to get active. We've got to become a permanent feature. We've got to cooperate, and we've got to be structured, and that's the way that we will beat it. Because, look at, I'll finish on a lighter note. Leo keeps saying that we are neutral if we go down this road. Never let the man wire a plug for you, because when you're plugged in, you're